At Connor's, I think, having a party, and we were all, we decided to go and see my mother. My mother comes in because she's got Alzheimer's, okay? And we all went and stand in front of her, and she looks and she says, Richard, well, I got hit in the back and the legs, you know. But anyways, Dave, the thing about Dave that I remember, I mean, I went through a long time with Dave. Dave and I were really close. We did an awful lot of things together. But when I was a kid, and then even when I was older, if Dave went somewhere, I went with him. And different things would happen over those years too. Like once I rolled out of his car, anyway. But whatever he did, whatever he was gonna, it didn't matter if he was with like 4 or 5 older guys or like his friends. I was there with him all the time. So he's a great guy. Really miss him.
And there was 4 or 6 of us, I can't remember, and picked up early in the morning. Richard and Carol, I think, were with us that day too. And picked up early in the morning. We arrived at the charter boat, and we got all settled in, and we went out, and we'd been fishing. We stopped and fished for an hour, stopped. We were out about 3 hours, and then all of a sudden, Sheila was in hysterical laughter, laughing that I've never heard her laugh so much before. And I said, Sheila, what's so funny? We're not catching that many fish. How come it is? And she pointed at her lovely husband. And David had his trousers on completely backwards. And the amazing thing was he'd had them on for 7 hours completely backwards. And she laughed, and of course, in his humble way, he wanted to get to a washroom. On these boats, they're not very accommodating, and he had to wait quite a bit before he could get into that washroom to change his trousers. I'm sure you can picture the situation. We're going to hear from Paul now, because we're working 7 days a week with livestock. He's one day he said, Paul, he said, you and Marlene, you're at the church Saturday night, and I'm going to be here 8 o'clock Sunday morning to pick you up, and we're going to go boating at Long Point Bay. So we had the chores done, 8 o'clock, Dave was there. Got in the car, and the first thing that he had beside him was a big container of Caesars. Now Caesars are like a Bloody Mary, and he said, "Have a drink." I said, "You can't drink while you're driving." He said, "Well, why not?" I said, "Well, that's against the law." He said, "We're going to have a drink." And I said, "What if we get stopped?" He said, "I know all the back roads," and he said, "We're not going to get stopped." And sure enough, we arrived at Long Point Bay, had a few drinks, got in the boat, and then we decided to go out to out to the lighthouse, which is about 30 miles out from where the boat was stationed. By the time we got there, we were feeling fairly good, and the weather was real nice. And he said, "Let's go to Erie, Pennsylvania, across the lake." Remember, Sheila? Now, I have to tell you the most unusual little story. We also had a few beers with us, and about halfway across the lake, we had a beer, and I threw my can overboard, which is a no-no. He gave me heck. He said, "You don't throw those cans overboard, because somebody might run into them and punch a hole in the side." I said, "Yeah, I suppose that could happen." So the wind was just a slight breeze from the east, and when we arrived in Erie, we were a little bit east of the town itself. So we had to go west, obviously, and we stayed there for 3 or 4 hours. Then we came back. In the meantime, this can had drifted a little bit further west. Hey, Rod, I kid you not, we ran across that can. That empty can was still floating. Remember that, Sheila? An unbelievable coincidence to run into that can that had been thrown overboard. And then we hit the lighthouse right dead on.
All before navigation, we only had that location.
That's right. We only had the compass. Then when we got back, we decided to do a little fishing, and we filled a 5-gallon pail with perch.
So there are so many stories that that we can tell about Dave and the impact he has had on our lives. I would take up all afternoon. I could probably, Marlene for sure, could certainly write a book. Did you want to come up for that? Did you want to say something? Did you want to say something? If you want to say something, Aaron, come on up. Just- Anyway, in closing, what I want to say is that, of course, First Street, where we live, will never be the same. We're going to miss seeing that red truck going up and down so many times. Shares of Home Depot will definitely drop because his presence is certainly going to be missed. The people that depended on Dave are going to be disappointed and sad. In closing, I would like to propose a toast to your friend and my best friend, David. And as Dave would say, it's got to be noon somewhere. May his soul rest in peace, and may perpetual light shine upon him. Thank you.